Hello, welcome to Module 2. Well, today, or this module, we are talking about career planning, which is an extraordinarily important topic. But first, let me talk a little bit about discussions. I have to confess, when I was in college, there were two things I hated. One was discussions, and the other was class or group work. Here's the thing with discussions. I remember being in class, and this was face-to-face days before online teaching. And I remember if the professor wrote down who participated, all the hands went up, and you never heard such a bunch of nonsense. Everybody was just desperate to talk, just to talk, okay, just to say something, just to have the professor write, a check by their name to that they had spoken. And I remember when I took over online teaching here, the guy who was doing it before was actually an administrator, a vice president here, and he did nothing but discussions. So I mean, they were easily abused. And when I got those students the next semester, I had many of those students in there. Yeah, they were all experts on everybody's opinion, but they didn't know any economics. So you can go to the extreme either way, I guess. That not having any discussions would not be a good idea. I think they do add something to the course. I think they're, adds a little social component, and they're fun. But we're not going to do a whole lot of them, okay? Because too many of them is going to be worthless, frankly. I think it's worthwhile to have them, but I don't think they really add that much to your learning, frankly. And if you do too much, they subtract time that could have been spent learning. So I tend to just let you participate as you, or just, I leave them wide open, like this one, the one you see right here. Just tell me what you thought was interesting, so and if you participate, I tend to give you full credit for it. So anyway, that's my thoughts on discussions. The only reason I have them at all probably is because years ago when I started doing this, when I took over, well, the other guy abused them completely. He was busy doing his vice president's job, and he just let discussions rule the day. So I came into it with a little bit of bias, perhaps, but anyway, the director of online learning practically begged me to have discussions in the class. So I have some, usually every other module, and they don't count a lot for your grade, but nevertheless, we're going to have some. Group work, well, that's another thing. See, okay, see, the thing is, if I hated it as a student myself, it's really hard for me to incorporate these things into my classes. My view of group work, here's what my view of group work is. A camel is a horse designed by committee. There you go. That's what I think of most group work in a nutshell. So anyway, I know some of you love that stuff. I know you just want to get on and discuss, but really it just takes away from the main issue. And then in this case, learning economics. You're not going to be tested on what everybody's opinion is. And so, yeah, we're going to do some. Okay, enough of that. Now let's get on with the module here. To borrow or not to borrow for college. Now, this is extremely important. A lot of students are getting into debt. And if you're going to borrow money for college, you need to know if this thing is going to pay off. And here, you can see, click on that, and you can see a couple of good resources. Georgetown University talks about the value of different college majors. And here, the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, has some good information. And take a look at that, because it's important to know that you're getting a return on your investment, because what you are doing here is you're using financial leverage. You're using financial leverage. That means you're borrowing at a lower rate, hopefully, and then getting a return at a higher rate. That's financial leverage. So you got to know if the return is even there. And not all college majors are equal. Some majors have a much higher return on investment than others. And that's where this article right here, it's heartbreaking. This guy just cluelessly went in and borrowed enormous sums of money and deep into debt. And just be warned here, okay? Be warned that this is a big risk. And we have a student loan crisis on our hands because students borrow the money thinking that any major is going to work, or that any amount of money is going to work. They think if the loan is authorized, then it's financially prudent to take the money. No, not necessarily. These are subsidized government programs. These are not financial advisors. And it may not be prudent to take the money, to borrow the money. So don't fall for a lot of debt unless you are certain that there is a reasonable financial return on your investment into human capital. Next, your next assignment, tracking your spending. One of the best exercises, the best things we do in this class is to track your spending for a month. Track every penny, write it down. Don't use a bank account. Don't just say, well, my bank account tracks it. No, I want you to write it down, because the act of writing it down may help you be more aware and possibly change your behavior if you're spending too much. As part of this tracking your spending assignment, click on that and read about that. And your latte factor, a few pages, very interesting. This caused a lot of uproar, actually. It's hilarious that some people took great offense at this idea of cutting back. But it's all true. Offense or not, it's all true. And if you want to hear the story, very entertaining audio right here is the author of this book called the Latte Factor talks about how that got started, and worth your while to listen just as an entertainment. Okay. Then, of course, next up is get into Revel, chapter 2, and that will do it. See you in module 3.